Today, we're driving into a huge shift in U.S. immigration policy. There are some major new enforcement measures that are creating a ton of uncertainty and some really serious challenges for visa holders everywhere. So let's get right into what's changed and, what it all really means. And just to give you an idea of the scale we're talking about, look at this number. Over 100,000 visas have been revoked since 2025. This is not some small policy adjustment. It's a massive, massive change that really signals a whole new approach to immigration in the U.S.
So, okay, a new era of enforcement. But what does that actually look like? What's really going on here? Let's break down the key changes that are driving all this.
Well, what's really striking is just how broad these changes are. This isn't just about one new rule. It's a government-wide push that's tightening the screws at every single step of the process. From the moment you apply to when you land at the border, and even while you're living here, the level of scrutiny has been dialed way, way up.
You've got to ask, though, what's the official reason for such a dramatic shift? Why is all of this happening right now?
And here's the answer, straight from U.S. officials. It all boils down to national security and public safety. The administration's argument is that these tougher measures are absolutely essential for vetting people more thoroughly and making sure that anyone coming into or staying in the country isn't a threat. Okay, so we've got the why. Now let's get into the how. What specific tools and new rules are actually being used to enforce all this? This really gets to the heart of it. Authorities are using much more aggressive, tech-driven screening, which includes way deeper background checks. But the real game changer here? Systematic monitoring of social media. The takeaway is pretty simple. Your online presence is now a huge part of your immigration file. And it goes beyond just looking at individuals. There are also these high-level policy changes having a massive effect. A 2026 proclamation has brought in sweeping visa suspensions for dozens of countries. And this isn't some narrow ban either. It's hitting everyone from tourists and students to families just trying to immigrate. Of course, these aren't just abstract policies. They have a very real impact on people's lives and their futures. So who's really feeling the effects of this new enforcement era? You can really see the human side of it here. For international students, even a small mistake, like a paperwork error or working just a few hours over the limit, could mean losing their legal status. Skilled workers are under a microscope, facing much tougher compliance checks. And for families and migrants, well, they're often dealing with huge delays or just getting flat-out denials. So, if you're trying to navigate the U.S. visa system right now, what's the takeaway? The message from the government seems to be pretty crystal clear. In this new climate, compliance is everything, seriously. The room for error has shrunk to basically zero. Experts are warning that little mistakes that might have been ignored in the past can now have huge consequences, like getting your visa revoked. So staying on top of every single rule and keeping your documents absolutely perfect is more important than it has ever been. And that kind of brings us to the big question, doesn't it? This doesn't seem like a temporary thing. It looks like a new reality that's still evolving. These measures are a huge shift in U.S. policy. So the question we're all left with is, as this intense enforcement becomes the new normal, what's next for anyone who dreams of building a life in the United States?